Well, here we are on day 4 of creating the flow and blockage, and we've been talking about in this series of training to really understand the tremendous power that's within and understanding how to remove blockages. And so on the day 4, what we want to talk about is labor, understanding the potential power of labor. You have 2 aspects of labor. You have mental labor and physical labor. Most of us, when we say the word labor, we think physical. What I want you to do for the next 30 days as you proceed forward in your goals is when we talk about labor, when you hear the word labor, think mental, because that's where all your power is. You see, before anything becomes physical in the labor, it has to come from the mental. And so you have to acknowledge it, you have to access it, and then apply it. So when you're applying it on the physical level, something has already been created on the mental level. So when we're talking about flow and blockage, it's very, very important to understand the resource that you have available. And so what most of us are doing is we're creating habits. We're creating habits every day in our life, and we have positive habits or not so positive habits. We have righteous habits and unrighteous habits. We have poor habits and good habits. And so we have wealth habits and we have poverty habits. And so what we want to talk about in this training is understanding the tremendous power you have to labor. Because everything starts mental first. Mental acknowledgement. When you acknowledge yourself, when you acknowledge your power, when you acknowledge your resource, you start with the potential to create. And so this is what we're talking about, creating blockages, creating flow. Flow is nature. And so you don't really have to create flow, but you have to create blockage. And so when you don't create blockage, everything is flowing. So to create a blockage, it could be positive or it could be negative. And so when you're creating a blockage, you often do it unconsciously, unawarely. You do it based on fear. You do it based on insecurities. You do it based on attempting to do something of security. But you then create something in your mind that doesn't allow the flow towards the goal or the objective. And so what you want to do is understand the resource that lives in your mental power. Your mental power to labor starts with you acknowledging. And so for all of your goals, for everything that you want to accomplish, your dream, the greatest way to do that is start first by acknowledging permission. Give yourself permission. Now, what do we mean? How many people know what they want, what they really desire in life? If you ask the average person, what is it that you really want? What is it that you're really desirous to accomplish? What is it you're passionate about? Most people don't know. And so that's where all your power resides, in the clear expression of what it is that you want to accomplish. And so it starts mental. You must become very, very clear mentally on what it is that you want to create through the labor. Is because when you don't, you are creating something through your labor, and it's manifesting every day in your life. And so that's why most people have to understand their level of success. Is because you're laboring every day mentally, and you are contracting. And when you contract in that mental realm, you're either going to create flow or blockage. So when you're creating it with intent, more than likely you set in motion the process for it to work. And so when you create habit, it's working. When you create poor habit, it's working successfully. When you create wealth habit, it's working successfully. Successful poor habit, successful wealth habit. They both came from your labor, mentally. Then you carry it out into the physical labor. And so it's very important to be clear before you labor, so that when you start laboring towards the goal, you're crystal clear on what it is that you want to create, because you will successfully create it. And so this is the 4th lesson for flow and blockage. We'll see you next time.